What I wanted to point out before I do my accelerator functionality review is one of the things that really stands out for me on this tool. So we know it adapts and it has angle changes, it's got pivot control option. The closeout ability far outweighs any other tool for closeout in the hand and in on a pole. But the other thing that really makes a difference with how this tool makes window cleaning so much easier to use with this handle compared to any other handle is the extra wide plate that it offers. So this is the widest plate, head plate, compared to any other tool. I'll give you a quick comparison. This is a Contour Pro Plus. It's quite a long head here for an Excelerator, but this is longer than that. We've got a saw bow here, and a saw bow should really be wider than any other handle because the saw bow is designed for extra long channels. But as you can see, this head is a much longer than this head. So if it had a wider head, let's say on the saw bow, disperse of pressure along the channel will be improved, and it will be a lot easier to use a 30 to 36 inch channel in a head that is wider. And last comparison for now, we've got a wagtail versus the Excelerator. You can see that the wagtail has a shorter head than the Excelerator, so that should mean that anybody who's struggling with using the liquidator, if you use it in this tool, a lot of your problems will be rectified just because this extra wide plate that this has. So without further ado, let's look at the functionality options that it offers, the versatility, the effectiveness and efficiency that this tool has compared to any other tool. So I'm going to do the functionality review of the Excelerator 2, and I'm going to talk about how I utilise it on a pole and in the hand. I've got a window up here that I'm going to clean 4 separate times using 4 separate scenarios, and also on a pole working on a much lower window here. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about and show, you're going to have to use your imagination because I'm going to talk about deep ledge and a very low window, and I can't actually demonstrate that on these windows here because I've only got what I've got. But the thing is, these windows are very chunky. They're commercial windows. This is a commercial building, and the liquidator performs fine on a commercial glass, just like it will perform fine on pretty much any window. But it will only perform fine if the end user knows how to control it, how to use it, how to maneuver, etc. Use the right soap solution. So the tool, this whole tool here, is only as good as the person using it. Once you understand that, you know, results will always differ. But because I've always worked with this tool, I know this tool inside out, upside down, with my eyes closed. Peter the same, Trabman, he knows how to use his tool. That's because we don't use any other tools. We don't rely on any other tool to get our work done. Because if we use any other tool, even if it's self-modified, wagtail, Contour Pro Plus, whatever, we're going to have the same problem, which most window cleaners have. We're going to work longer, harder, slower, and we're always going to get less results because we're restricted and we're limited to what the tool is capable of doing. So how I work, how Trabman works, is we eliminate mistakes, we eliminate the use of the glass cloth. So we work with tool and technique alone. So if you can work with tool and technique alone every single time, eliminating mistakes with my tool and technique alone, you're going to first of all work on the next level of window cleaning because your skill level will be so much higher than using any other tool, because any other tool makes you limited and restricted. You're going to get more work done in less time, and your quality of work will be so much higher because you're not touching the glass ever again after you've squeegeed it. So as long as you've got a decent rubber in there that's not causing you lines, and you've not got any debris on your squeegee, you've not made any turn marks, anything like that, your level of window cleaning, your results, your time on the glass will just be quicker, better. You'll be more effective, more efficient, because this tool is the most adaptable, most efficient, most effective and versatile tool ever produced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that window up there 4 separate times using 4 separate scenarios. This window here on the glass on my pole, and I'm going to use a straight pole. And the reason why I'm going to use a straight pole is because pretty much everybody you see on YouTube uses straight poles. Pretty much anybody you see around the world, they use straight poles. Very rarely do you see a window cleaner utilize an angle arm, and the people who do use an angle arm are the people who are kind of a lot more skillful than the average window cleaner that uses a pole. Now this tool has been designed so for most applications on a pole this tool doesn't need an angle arm, but if you have got an angle arm, we've got a doctoral angle here, then you're going to be working so much better, so much more diverse, so much more versatile with the tool once you learn how to do it, because this tool is pretty much, well, it's one of the most complicated tools around. There's many functions on here, and for window cleaners used to using brass squeegees and sorbos and stuff like that, these are very basic, very bog standard tools. And because it's so diverse, you know, jumping into one of these, if you're not used to it, because you're used to working with limited and restricted tools, you know, it might be a bit mind-blowing. So this is why I'm going to do a video to show how this tool will outperform any squeegee, any type of squeegee whatsoever, any multifunctional squeegee, any specialist squeegee. And a specialist squeegee is a squeegee that does certain things, certain applications. As long as the end user knows what he's doing and he's got the right soap solution method, this tool will outperform any other tool whatsoever. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the pole work first. We want one of the worst poles to use in window cleaning. I'm a skillful, knowledgeable window cleaner. This tool is the next level tool for window cleaning. So this pole shouldn't be any issue, apart from the clamps that often twist. So first of all, I'm going to be cleaning this window with tool and technique alone, and it's something that you can't do with any other tool unless you self-modify a tool. But even if you self-modify a tool, you're still not going to be able to get a maneuver what I've just produced there, which is a minimum move. Minimum moves are the hardest, most difficult, most complicated maneuvers on a window, because you've got to use a squeegee channel that's very, very large in a small pane, and all you're doing is putting the squeegee in the right position at the right time, getting the preciseness at the edges, no directional change marks. So you won't see anybody on YouTube doing that. You won't see anybody in real life do that. But you know what, if you know what you're doing, if you learn your trade and you get onto the next level of window cleaning, you can do that with this tool. I'm not an exception to the rule. I'm just a lot further ahead than anybody else, because I've never ever relied on any other tool in the last, what, 4, 5, 6 years. And before then I was self-modifying tools, taking me to the next level. Using any normal standard squeegee, it's just going to make you work longer, harder, slower. You're restricted, you're limited, and your maneuvers, your skill and ability is just nowhere near where it can be. So I'm an extremist in window cleaning. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because I'm like a tutor. Peter Trabman is like a tutor. He never degrades himself using any other tool. We use the best tools, and our skill and ability is on the next level of window cleaning. Now, saying that, YouTube window cleaners tend to be one of the some of the best around, but you know, compare that to people in the street who just use bog standard tools, work much longer, harder, slower, and getting less results. You know, there's a difference in what you're able to do, and if you use the best tools, you can learn, and obviously the best methods of applying the soap and your skill and your placement and squeegee, you can get to work with tool and technique alone. That is the highest standard of traditional window cleaning that exists. And no one on YouTube talks about it, because no one on YouTube, bar me and Trabman, does that. Everybody else has a lower level of skill and a lower level of results, and they have to result on with these tools here to rectify any mistakes. You might not like what I'm saying, but think about it. Everybody knows the truth. You might not like what I'm saying, you might not like me, but hey, just deal with it. So what I'm doing is, now I'm going to cause an obstacle, an imaginary obstacle. It's a bush that's in the way. I can't go over the bush, but I can squeeze in a nice small gap here, and I can wash this window here, and I can again make this maneuver called a minimum move. I've adapted my tool for my right working conditions, and I've got 100% results. You can't do that with any other tool, and I'm going to show you right now why you can't do that with any other tool.
Oh, fuck off, mate!
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use two different tools. First of all, it's a wagtail. I'm using a straight pole because most window cleaners around the world and on YouTube use straight poles. I'm in this confined, tight situation, and I'm going to wash the window. I'm going to be able to navigate. I might even be able to get myself a minimum move with this tool. A lot harder to do, but what I'm going to have a problem is I'm not going to be able to close out, right? All I'm going to do is make a mess, because this is very chunky frames here. I'm very close to the glass, and hopefully you can see that there's like 1.5 centimeters, maybe 2 centimeters of residue on that glass. So this tool failed using this straight pole. I'm going to also use another multifunctional tool, and the Accelerator is the most multifunctional specialist tool there is on the market. Add a bit of soap there. So this is like a back flip, and like a vice versa, it's the combinator. So I can't navigate, right? So I'm restricted. I'm working longer, harder, slower, and I can't close out again because these are really chunky frames here, commercial glass. And there are some people on YouTube that say you can't use liquidators on commercial glass. Well, if you know what you're doing and you've got the skill and you've got the ability, you can with ease use liquidators on commercial glass. So what I've got there is I've got even less results because I had to do straight pulls. I've got drag mark here, I've got a closeout mark here. That's about 2 inches, that's about 1.5 inches. I've worked longer, harder, slower, and I've got less results. So that's just two examples of using two different tools, but this tool annihilated in that position, and this tool will always annihilate any position, any sort of scenario. This tool will annihilate it as long as the end user knows how to do it, how to perform. Right, so I've just showed you that these two tools here failed, and what you'd need to do is work even longer with the detail cloth to get as nearly good results as what I got with tool and technique alone. You can't get as good results with the detail cloth, because after a while the detail cloth will start getting dirty, and every time you're using it, rubbing up against the frames. Because I'm not going to wash these frames, by the way, so for anybody who says, well, you're not cleaning the frames, I'm doing a demonstration. I'm not cleaning windows here.
Mate, you oh dear.
So your results will just deteriorate and deteriorate. So let's use this pole up much longer length, and these clamps are really bad, so just bear with me while I try to undo it. As I said, this is one of the worst poles that I've ever used. Right, bush in a way again. I can't get round the bush, but I can go over the bush. So another obstacle. I'm now really far away from the glass, and let's wash the window, and we're gonna now do exactly the same maneuver again. So I've done the 3 maneuvers now, exactly the same, which you won't see any YouTube window cleaner perform with any of their tools, and I've got 100% results. So very far away from the glass, I've adapted my tool for my right working conditions. Let's now see what a Unger Zero can do, and a wagtail. I'm not going to bother now using the combinator, because the combinator will just never work from this distance. Right, so let's soap up the, let's get a bit of soap on there first. Let's soap up the window. So straight away I'm now working longer, harder, slower, because I'm now changing tools over. But I might be able to get some sort of navigation with this tool, but I'm not going to get any preciseness or positioning, but I might be able to fan with it. We'll see. so I can't really perform a minimum move because, oh, actually I can. I struggle with it, but because these are commercial glass, very chunky. First of all, I've got detailing that he's doing, but I've got a closeout mark because his squeegee will not close out on this window. Right, I cannot close out to the bottom. Just can't do it. Just can't do it. And you'd think that a 0 degree tool would be able to do that, but because this frame here is so thick, it can't physically finish. Okay, can't finish. Right, so let's just use a wagtail. This wagtail has razor rubber in, and razor rubber is a very sticky rubber. It's not a good performing rubber. Right, let's put as much soap as I can on there on a saturated washer, work a large distance from the glass. Now, because I'm at an angle that the squeegee will not want to perform at, I'm not going to get any kind of decent manoeuvre. So all I can do is make a mess, really. I can close out, but because the squeegee's at an angle that doesn't want to perform on a straight pole, all I have, hopefully you can see, I've got a big mark here, I've got a mark here. All I've done is work longer, harder, slower, and I've got less results. So last application on that window here. Right, let's collapse this awful pole down. There we go. I have to dry it every single time because I have to tighten up so much, and then once you tighten it up, you can't undo it when you've got soapy hands. So I'm going to turn this tool now into a completely different tool. I'm now going to utilise my angle arm. Right, so what I'm going to do is, let's use our imaginations. We've got a 10-inch frame here. I've turned my tool into a ledging specialist tool. So ledgers specialise in closing out on deep ledges. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a manoeuvre that you don't see anybody on YouTube make. That's a minimum move. So I've made 4 minimum moves, 4 different scenarios, from simple stance from the glass to being restricted too close, from being very far away, and now we've got a ledge. So why did this outperform any ledger, any Sorbo Ledger-matic? Well, first of all, I've got wash and wipe. You don't get wash and wipe with these tools. I don't think you get with a Ledger-matic, but what you get with a Ledger-matic and a ledger also is, all you can do is straight pull. So you can't navigate, you can't get 0 detail, 0 mistakes. All you can do really is close out. That's the only thing that's the benefit of those tools. But you can work longer, harder, slower, and you will work longer, harder, slower, and you will get less results with the detailing, with the drag marks, and you're going to work slower, all for that. So I just showed you how this tool can outperform. Let me just show you again on a ledge. Don't bother doing the whole window. Oh, let's just utilise the ledger application. So now we're not using straight pole. So here's the ledge. I can ledge up to 15 inches.
Oh dear. Oh, go back a bit. Let me go back a bit. Please go back a bit.
Now I'm going to clean the lower level window, and I'm going to do a manoeuvre that no other tool can produce to this level. There are tools that can work on this level, but I'm using a straight pole. Remember, I'm always using a straight pole, and using a straight pole is like window cleaning like this with your straight arm. Very restrictive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate all the way down. I'm going to get 0 detail, 0 mistakes, and if I do make a mistake, I can go back up and rectify. So that's tool and technique alone. So this is like an application where you can't get close to a glass, lower level. I've cleaned that glass 100%. Let's just compare it with a wagtail, and the wagtail's not going to perform even at the top of the glass on this straight pole. You're going to need an angle arm. So I'm not even going to bother soaping up further down because it's not going to work any more than here. And all I'm getting now is directional change mark and scuff. It's just not going to work because I'm on a straight pole. I'm restricted, I'm limited. Right, what I'm going to do is another comparison with a 0 degree. Unger. I suppose there's other 0 degree handles out there on the market. Just get that water off my glasses. So with this I can navigate, but what am I lacking? I've already worked longer, harder, slower by changing my tools over. I'm lacking the edging. And if you don't believe me, I'll go right up close. All I've got here is detailing that needs doing. Right, so for that I've worked longer, harder, slower, and I've got less results. Let's get that accelerator true again. Now use your imagination now, because I'm now going to demonstrate how you can clean the glass all the way down to ground level and below by using the angle arm. So I've now utilised more scope with my restrictive pole, because now I've got like a joint in there. I can clean the lower part of the window, no problem. Now I could carry on all the way down, and I can go down to below ground level if it was like a cellar window, until I hit a curb like this, let's say. So this tool allows you to go further with any other tool, and all I've showed so far is pole demonstrations. So now I'm going to go into using it in the hand. I'm going to show you the benefit of how I use this tool all the time in the hand, how it stops you from being limited and restricted, working longer, harder, slower, and most importantly of all, after all that, get perfect results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these two windows here, and I'm just going to talk about how this tool is configured like an Etray Ledge Easy, or a Sorbo, or Unger 40 degree, Ninja. At the moment it's in a 40 degree. Now working on a normal window like this, although it's commercial glass, right, working on a normal window, this is just really much the same as a Ledge Easy handle. But upon with maybe a Ledge Easy or Sorbo handle for commercial work is you're going to come up against deep ledges, right? And the problem when you come up with deep ledges, this isn't that deep and the window is quite far away from the edge of the wall here. But if I'm using a Ledge Easy Sorbo, what I'm going to do is when it comes to closing out, I'm going to make scuff marks and I'm going to make detailing, because the tool won't finish. So if I've got 100 windows to clean on this building, or 200 or 300, and I'm looking for 100% results, I'm going to have to get my fixing towel and fix all my mistakes every single time. That's if I'm looking for very high quality results. Right, so because this tool adapts to my working conditions and I know exactly what I need to do to make this tool get 100% results with my tool and technique alone, let's do the maneuver again. When I come to close out, no scuff marks, no problem whatsoever. Even if it was coming out on the bottom or the side, it doesn't matter. Now let's imagine this frame was much closer to the glass and it was a mile wide. So that's like very deep, right? A mile wide frame doesn't exist, but I'm going to show you why. Even if it was up but close to the edge of the window, why now I've changed my squeegee positioning, it's not going to affect me whatsoever, because all I've done is change my tool upside down. So that's now going to allow me, if I've got 100, 200, 300, 400 windows to clean and every single window has a problem with a frame like that, I can still work with tool and technique alone. Here I'm in a very restricted environment. I'm in a predicament with a wall in the way, with a bush in the way, and I want to show you the benefit of having a -20 tool that's going to give you zero detail, zero mistakes, as long as you know what you're doing and you've got the right soap solution. I'm able to close out effortlessly in this confined, constricted, pretty much low down window there. No Etray, no Sorbo, no Pulex, no Unger, no wagtail will be able to close out as easily, or if at all, on that window there in a restricted environment, and getting zero detail, zero mistakes That is amazing.